What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So EA has gone down significantly in stock market value, and that's a huge deal. Basically, the company has lost over $3 billion over this last month in value. If you look at individual stock, pretty much at the beginning of this month, it was worth around $120. Now it's standing at about $105, and that's a very large increase. I think pretty much coming down to about 10%. And yeah, I cannot stress out enough that is huge, because it means that the company is worth significantly less. And trust me, they're pretty much like shitting their pants right now at the company, because they're very afraid not just of the fact that this could go down even more, but also about the fact that this is gonna heavily impact the future decisions that they're gonna have to make for their games. And I'll get back to that you know, in a bit. Pretty much what it all comes down to is simply the fact that gamers have done a great job, not just boycotting Star Wars Battlefront 2, but talking about it you know, on the forums, talking about it, or literally like bringing it into the news, not just gaming news, mainstream media news. Like, I've literally seen this whole controversy being talked about on TV in this country, and that's a big deal if that happens, because it means that it's a huge topic. And that's exactly, of course, what it was. So much so that it came to the point where even governments have started talking about microtransactions and loot boxes and what should be happening with them in the future. I think there was like a Belgian minister or something that was considering going to the EU with a new law to like literally forbid you know, loot boxes from being in video games, because he looks at them as gambling, which I'm not gonna say I completely agree with. And I do think that consumers should be the people actually fixing these issues and not the government, because you really don't want the government to be involved with video games, because they're gonna make stupid decisions, and we've seen that happen countless times before. But nonetheless, you know, it means that yes, a company like EA will be shitting their pants. And like I just said already, the reason why is simply said for the fact that, you know, they could go down even more as far as, you know, value goes, and that means that they've got a big problem. Or, and that's the thing, is that they look at the future of their whole, you know, gaming business and what their plans were, right? And all of a sudden they go, shit, we killed Visceral Games single player game. We've got, what is it, like Respawn, the Titanfall developer, we've got their Star Wars game coming up, which would pretty much most likely be very multiplayer based, with lots of, you know, like DLC, with lots of microtransactions. We've got Anthem, and Anthem is literally gonna have microtransactions and DLC all over the place. At least it would have, because that game was gonna just follow the whole Destiny, you know, Destiny business plan, where it would have contained lots of those things. And they go, well, damn, we're gonna have these very same type of controversies possibly moving forward with these games, and we definitely do not want that, right? And so that's the thing, is that I think so many companies right now, not just EA, this has an effect on the whole gaming industry, is that so many small companies, or just simply smaller companies than EA, which is pretty much 90% of them, because EA is like one of the biggest players by far, they're gonna look at it and, man, they damn sure gotta be very safe or sure of their case, I guess, before they decide to really push those microtransactions in the same way, or maybe even to include them at all. Because that's the thing, is that I feel that gamers so far have done a great job with this, and I completely agree that microtransactions should not in any way belong in $60 video games where you're already paying for them, whether cosmetic, or whether it's an XP boost, or whether it's weapons that you buy that way. It simply shouldn't be there at all, because you pay a premium price. The only thing that should be paid for, in my opinion, is actual DLC that time and effort has been put into, that actually contains some content that has been made, that has been put effort into. It is fine to pay for that after launch, you know, like a couple months after or something. That's completely fine, that's understandable, and that's a good thing in my opinion, because it means that you can extend the experience for players that really love the game, you know, in an even better way. If it's good DLC, like, you know, look at Left Behind, look at Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, some other ones that have come out, that is always worth paying for, and that's fine. But like, microtransactions are not fine to me in the slightest, especially with the whole nature that they have of simply giving people advantages, making people, you know, get better at the game by paying for it. Just shouldn't be happening. It's like, it's that simple. Good content should be paid for, bad content like that should not be paid for. And so yes, what I would advise gamers is simply to push through with this even more. Like, this is the start of something, but companies, like I said, are gonna think think twice whether they want to actually implement these things now moving forward. And if gamers keep simply showing off the fact that they do not want these microtransactions in their games by once again saying they're going to boycott it or talking about it on the forums or whatever, that's going to be a big deal. And we're going to ultimately see the consumer have such a big, like, you know, influence on where the gaming industry is going that we will not see these microtransactions be a part of our video games anymore. And like I said, that would definitely be awesome news. This is just, you know, good news in general. This shows you how powerful the consumer is, what effect they have on where the gaming industry is headed, and that it definitely makes a big difference if gamers stand up against something that they do not like in their video games. That's really, really good to see. So with that being said, let me know your own thoughts, of course, in the comments. How do you feel about this whole situation? What do you think it's going to mean for microtransactions in video games moving forward? And then for now, thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and hope to see you again next time.